Hello everyone, welcome back. I got here a bunch of new Glock 43 magazines. These are Glock OEM, and I'm going to preemptively doing some minor modifications to these to make them work more comfortably. They'll work either way, but make them work a little bit more comfortably with my aftermarket Glock 43 over here. Okay, so if you look at these magazines over here, which I have been working with for a couple of months, okay, you'll see how they're basically worn over here, right? So in the top of the top of the magazine. So what's happening? Let me take this G43 apart. So, by the way, that slide, this is a true precision slide. Actually, this one is not a true precision barrel. This is a syndicate, but I have other G43s where I have a true precision barrel and a true precision a slide, and they do the same thing. So, what's happening? By the way, the recoil spring is OEM. Make sure you guys definitely want to try and use OEM springs. The aftermarket recoil springs are very problematic. So, but what's happening with these magazines is when the barrel tilts up, right, when the gun locks forward, the feed ramp right here hits the magazine right there. This is one of the new ones. This is one of the old ones. Right, and basically it just eats into that plastic. It doesn't get to the metal because these Glock magazines, they have a steel inner case, and then a plastic outer surface, or however you want to call this. So just to give you guys, so you guys can actually see what's going on. Put this back together. So, I have here brand new one, never been shot, Glock OEM magazine for the G43, right? So you can see how that's like perfect right there. Okay, I'm gonna just fire a couple of rounds with this, and you're gonna see how that barrel feed lip, just with 3 rounds, is gonna hit that. The gun's still gonna cycle. So, that's the interesting thing is you would almost expect it not to cycle, but this plastic is so soft that the gun still cycles. So with just 3 shots that I fired, you can see how that's been hit over here, okay? And then what happens if you keep using this, you just keep getting this little bit of buildup over here. So, and here's the thing, this plastic's so soft that it really doesn't seem to even affect it that much. But I want to just preemptively deal with it, because after a while you're just going to end up having a lot of garbage hanging out here in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take two of these empty cases, right? They've already been shot. And all I'm doing with the 2 empty cases is I'm using them to just push down the follower and get it out of my way. I mean, I've tried pushing it down with my hand so I can work with it, but it's just easier if you put 2 empty cases in there, and you can more easily work with this. And then I'm just going to take my Dremel. Gotta do one at a time. Then I'm just gonna take the case out of these 2. Now, even with the ones that I've already fixed, I noticed that you can still, it won't wear as much, but you'll still see a couple of hit marks there. So you just want to keep an eye on this, and as you start seeing like threads and garbage accumulate there, you just go back and you just clean it up with Dremel, so you don't have basically that garbage hanging in front of your magazine. That's it. I mean, I'm gonna just go through all this with all these magazines. It's a really simple fix. I've had a couple of these G43s that I have built. Uh, I got one. Most of them have the True Precision slides, True Precision barrels. One of them has a Brownell's slide, and I forget what barrel is in there. But they all do it. All these aftermarkets seem to do it. I have asked people that have Glock OEM pistols, right, if theirs do it, and they tell me no. So it's specific to the aftermarket builds, right? So you're not going to have this problem on if you're using a Glock OEM gun. It's specific to the to the ones that you build yourself. Yeah, easy fix, just something to look out for. A couple of more serious problems that you gotta be aware of with the if you're building Glock 43s. Initially, as far as the magazine, initially on most of these, when you put in the Glock OEM magazine, it goes in really tight. I did a video on this. It fits really perfect with an ETS magazine because the ETS G43 magazines are a little bit thinner. But if you want to mainly use it with a Glock OEM, in order for this to go in there and fall out freely, you're gonna have to take a file, just go in there, and basically, you'll see the thing that's where the magazine catch sticks out and it goes into the magazine. Just file it down just a little bit at a time, to the point that you get an easy drop. Okay, so that's one of the things to watch out for with the Glock 43 builds. You're gonna have to file down. Don't use a drum or anything. Just get a small file in there. It doesn't take a whole lot of work. Just gotta rub it a few times, and wear down that magazine release just enough so that your magazine drops easy. Again, that's also a really easy fix. Other issue you will have is the aftermarket recoil springs that come with the slide parts kit. Those are all garbage. Okay, do not, if at all possible, don't buy that, because what's going to happen is they're on the light side, and basically the slide's not going to close with enough force, especially if you have a round in there. It's gonna stay open a little bit like that, and the gun's basically gonna be out of battery. So if at all possible, get a Glock OEM recoil spring. Okay. The other thing that you're gonna have a problem with is the strikers, right? The firing pins. The firing pins, especially the ones that come with the slide parts kits, the firing pin tends to hang forward, right? And then as the case comes up, the bottom. And it does it with all Glocks, I've noticed. Yeah, so like right now I did that. It is hanging forward a little bit. All right. So what's supposed to happen is, as well, first of all, as the slide goes forward, it's supposed to that firing pin is supposed to get pulled back. Okay, but sometimes the timing isn't perfect. So what happens is the firing pin doesn't get pulled back fast enough. So when the case comes up, this part of the case here will catch on the firing pin, and it'll fail to feed, right? Because the firing pin is stuck forward and the case is getting stuck on, it's coming up and hitting it. What I have, initially what I did is I tried basically just cutting the angle a little bit on the firing pin head, all right, so that it had more of an arrow, more of a slant, because the G17 and G19, G26, the firing pin is more of an arrowhead. So as the case comes up, if the firing pin hasn't been pulled back, it will push it back. The G43 has more of like a nipple design. It does have a little bit of a slant, but it's not enough. So one of the things I did initially was to basically shave it down a little bit, and it was working. However, I did break off the firing pin head. I broke every firing pin head on all the firing pins that came with the slide parts kits. Okay, I've been buying the billet strikers for G43 from AIM Surplus, and they haven't been that expensive. Initially, I was buying them for $15 each. Now I think the price has gone up, but I'm still getting those. The billet strikers from AIM Surplus for the G43. get that seat. That's what I got in there right now, and you saw that it's working pretty good. Okay, I'm not having any issues with the cases getting stuck on the final pin head, which is hanging forward. So that's working out pretty good. So those are, I mean, building the G43 is easy. The problem is getting good parts, because the G43 has not been around that long. Basically, it's a Gen 5 gun, so there aren't as many companies building aftermarket parts for these. Your best bet is to just go Glock OEM on all the on the internals, right? On the lower parts kit and the slide parts. If you can get Glock OEM, that's the way to go. I am not a Glock OEM fanny boy. My G17s, 19s, and 26s, they all got like aftermarket parts kits in them. So I'm not like a Glock OEM fanny boy. However, that is what's going to work best in your G43. Okay. Other thing worth mentioning, Shield Arms is coming out with a new magazine. It's called the Z9. It's supposed to come out any day now. I think today's, what's today? Today is May 17th. I think it's supposed to come out on May 22nd. I mean, obviously, it might take a little while before it becomes available to everyone. Okay. And what they've done is they've increased the capacity of the standard size. Well, they've created a magazine that increases the capacity from 6 rounds to 9 rounds, right? And then with one in the chamber, you get 10 rounds. And the way that they did it is because these Glock OEM magazines are a steel in the body with a plastic outer shell. What they did is they made it all steel, right? And which allowed the internals to be because it's all steel. There's more space on the inside, and they were able to fit 3 extra rounds in there. Now, from what I've seen, they also did make it a tad bit longer. They did basically give it a picking extension. I don't like the picking extensions, and the reason is, here, I got one right here. When I sit down in the car, I want this to be flush. I want this to be as I don't want this sticking out. And the 1/2 inch does make a difference to me, okay? When I sit down, I can feel that 1/2 inch. I'm going to get 2 of those Z9 magazines from Shield Arms. I'll try it out. But I have a feeling that it's not going to be good for me, just because that, you know, I'd rather just have an extra magazine. You know, it's more important for me that the gun be small than I have those 2 extra rounds. Because I can more easily fit another magazine here, get a full, 6 rounds in there. Maybe I'll put the Z9 one on this side over here. I use that as the backup. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to get 2 of those Z9 magazines from Shield Arms when they become available, and I will try it out, and I'll do a video on that. I just want to make you guys aware of it. But in the meantime, I just wanted you guys to see how I fix these OEM magazines. Fix these OEM magazines to get them to fit better into my Aftermarket G43, right? So I take two empty cases, put it in there, take the Dremel, that's all it is. If you don't do it, it'll probably work just fine. I haven't had any, before I started doing this, I didn't have any problems. I would just have all this garbage that would hang out in the front. So if you do this, everything will work better. So basically what you're doing is you're getting rid of the plastic, and you're getting down to the steel that's in there. Interesting thing is, if with the Z9 from Shield Arms that I mentioned, if they make it the same size as this plastic, as the outer shell of the plastic one, I'm probably going to have the same issue with those magazines hitting the barrel feed ramp. And of course, now that's steel, so I expect that when I put it into this gun, I expect that because it's a harder steel, I expect that it's immediately going to jam, right? It's not going to fire the way the plastic ones do. And I'm going to have to use the Dremel, and I'm going to have to shave down the steel in the front, to get it out of the way of the feed ramp. Okay, so that's what I expect. I don't know. We'll see when I when I tested out. I don't know if Shield Arms tested their magazines with these, you know, with the aftermarket Glock 43s. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop some comments below. If you got any questions, let me know. If you're building one of these G43s and you want to see some of my building videos on them, drop a comment and I'll give you a link to one of my private videos. I had to basically make my building videos private so that they would not get deleted. Okay, so but if anybody wants to see them, just let me know and I'll post a link for you guys. So also, you can also find me on Odyssey. My channel name over there is Pocono Tactical. Odyssey is an uncensored platform, and Odyssey is spelled ODYSEE.com. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.